Ladies, if you're over 60 and you ever feel a little wobbly on your feet, this might shock you. Doctors say nearly all older women are making at least one of these 6 walking mistakes, and it's causing dangerous falls, broken hips, and long hospital stays. I'll walk you through each mistake and how to fix it, because as someone who's been there, I promise, losing your balance isn't just a part of getting older. It's something you can take control of. And before we begin, I'd love for you to like this video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you do to stay active every week? Now let's get into it. 1. Walking with your head down. When I was younger, I never gave much thought to how I walked. I just moved, confidently, naturally, without overthinking it. But as I got older, somewhere in my 60s, I began to notice a subtle change. I started walking with my head tilted downward, always watching the ground in front of me. At first, I thought it was just caution. I wanted to avoid cracks in the pavement, uneven paths, or even just little things like loose stones. But over time, this became my default. I would walk into a room, down the street, even into church, eyes on the floor like I was afraid to meet the world head-on. And here's the part that truly surprised me. This innocent little habit was completely throwing off my balance. Doctors have explained that your body is like a chain, and the head is one of the most important links. When you tilt it down, it shifts your center of gravity forward. That may not sound like a big deal, but it pulls your spine out of alignment, weakens your core muscles, and throws your whole posture off balance. It's no wonder so many older women find themselves stumbling more often. We're literally setting ourselves up for it. And then there's another layer to it. Walking with your head down can become a mental habit, too. You start to shrink into yourself. You walk like someone who's unsure, hesitant, even a little afraid. I didn't realize how much it affected the way I felt until I made a change. Now, I make a conscious effort to lift my head, square my shoulders, and look out at the world. Not just because it helps me walk straighter, but because it changes how I feel inside. I feel more capable, more present, more like the woman I've always been. So if you catch yourself looking down too often, try lifting your gaze, not just to protect your balance, but to remind yourself that the world hasn't passed you by. You're still in it, and you're still strong enough to walk forward with confidence. 2. Taking short, shuffling steps. I'll be the first to admit it. There was a period in my early 70s when I thought shuffling was the safe thing to do. I thought shorter steps mean less chance of tripping. It seemed logical. I was trying to be cautious, but that caution almost caused me more harm than good. Here's the truth. When you shuffle your feet or take tiny, hesitant steps, you're not helping your body. You're actually depriving it of the natural rhythm and flow it needs to keep you balanced. See, walking is more than just putting one foot in front of the other. It's a coordinated effort between your brain, muscles, joints, and even your eyes. When you shorten your stride, your muscles don't activate the way they're supposed to. Your hips stay tight, your knees don't bend fully, and your feet barely lift off the ground. That means you're more likely to catch a toe on a rug, a step, or even your own shoe. I remember one day, walking through the grocery store, when I realized I was barely lifting my feet. It was almost like I was sliding instead of walking. I was afraid of slipping, but ironically, that made me more likely to do exactly that. What helped me was focusing on a full step. Nothing exaggerated, just a natural heel-to-toe motion. The heel touches the ground first, then the foot rolls through to the toe. That little change reminded my legs and brain how to work together. My hips began to loosen up. My knees moved with more ease. My body remembered what it meant to move with purpose. And more than anything, it helped me feel in control again. There's something empowering about walking with stride, not fast, not rushed, but deliberate and proud. Like you're not just moving, but moving forward. So please, Don't let fear shrink your steps. Let your body do what it was built to do. You may be older, but your strength is still there. Sometimes it just needs to be reminded. 3. Wearing the wrong shoes. Let's talk shoes. Oh, how I used to love my soft slippers. Those cozy, fluffy ones that felt like clouds on my feet. I wore them around the house every day, thinking I was doing myself a favor. My feet felt warm, cushioned, and relaxed. Until the day I nearly tripped going down the hallway. No loose rug, no obstacle, just me in my soft, unsupportive slippers, catching my foot on nothing at all. That was the wake-up call I needed. Most women over 60 don't realize just how much our shoes affect our balance. As we age, the muscles in our feet and ankles can weaken. Our arches flatten. Our reaction time slows. The wrong shoes, especially ones with soft soles, no grip, or poor structure, don't give your body the support it needs. In fact, many of the most common shoes worn by older women are downright dangerous. Loose-fitting slip-ons, flat sandals with no arch support, high heels we refuse to give up because they're too pretty. I get it, we want to feel comfortable and look stylish. But if your shoes don't support your steps, they're putting you at risk every single day. After my hallway stumble, I took my doctor's advice and found a pair of proper walking shoes. Nothing fancy, just sturdy soles, good grip, firm heel support, and a snug fit. It was a small change, but the first time I walked in them, I felt the difference immediately. My gait improved. My posture corrected. My fear of falling started to melt away. Now, I've made it a rule. I don't wear anything around the house or outside unless it hugs my foot securely and supports my arch. And if I want something cozy, I look for slippers made for seniors with proper treads and firm soles. Shoes aren't just fashion, they're safety. They're the foundation for every step you take. And when you choose the right ones, you don't just protect yourself from falls. You give yourself the freedom to move through the world with confidence. 4. Ignoring arm movement while walking. This one might sound small, but let me tell you, it makes a world of difference. For the longest time, I didn't pay any attention to what my arms were doing when I walked. They just hung there at my sides like dead weight. Sometimes I'd even clasp them behind my back, especially when I was thinking or strolling through the garden. But one day, my physical therapist said something that really stuck with me. Your arms are part of your balance system. And I thought, really? These little things? Oh, yes. It turns out when we walk with a natural arm swing, opposite arm to opposite leg, we help our bodies maintain momentum and equilibrium. It keeps the rhythm of our steps smooth, keeps our upper body engaged, and actually helps stabilize our core. When we keep our arms still or hold them tightly to our sides, we're throwing off that natural rhythm. Our body becomes stiff. Our stride becomes rigid. We lose that gentle counterbalance that helps us stay steady, especially on uneven ground or when changing direction. And here's the part one never considered. Swinging your arms also encourages better posture. It keeps your chest lifted, your shoulders back, and your spine aligned. The simple act of moving your arms helps activate muscles all the way from your neck down to your hips. So now, every time I head out for a walk, even just around the block, I focus on letting my arms move naturally. Not flailing, not exaggerated, just a relaxed, gentle swing in rhythm with my steps. It's amazing how such a small movement can make you feel more centered and grounded. If you've been walking with stiff arms or hands in your pockets, try letting them flow. You might be surprised how much lighter and steadier you feel. 5. Walking too quickly or too slowly. I know we've all heard that walking is one of the best exercises you can do in older age. And it's true, but the speed you walk at matters more than most of us realize. There was a time when I thought the faster I walked, the healthier I must be. I'd rush through errands or power walk through the park, thinking I was doing my heart a favor. Rushing made me careless. I wasn't watching my footing, and I was often out of breath. My legs were moving fast, but my body was out of sync, and more than once, I found myself wobbling or veering slightly off balance. On the flip side, there were also times when I walked too slowly, especially when I was tired or not feeling confident. I'd drag my feet, shorten my stride, and hesitate with every step. That wasn't safe either. I wasn't activating the right muscles, and I was making myself more vulnerable to losing balance. The key is finding your natural pace, one that's not rushed but not sluggish either. A rhythm that allows you to be present and in control. Doctors call this the functional walking speed, and it's a strong predictor of both mobility and longevity in older adults. When you walk at a steady, comfortable pace, where you can hold a conversation without gasping, but you're still putting energy into each step, you engage your whole body, your brain, your breath, your posture, your muscles, everything works in harmony. These days, I walk like I'm dancing with the earth, not too fast, not too slow, but just right. Enough to feel alive, alert, and stable. And that makes all the difference. 6. Not practicing balance outside of walking. Here's something I wish someone had told me a decade ago. Walking alone doesn't train your balance. I used to think just getting out and walking every day was enough to keep my body strong and stable. And while walking is wonderful, don't get me wrong, it doesn't challenge your balance system in the way we need it to as we age. You see, balance is like a skill. And like any skill, it needs practice. As we get older, our reflexes slow down. Our sense of where we are in space, what doctors call proprioception, becomes a little less sharp. That's why we need to actively train our balance, not just rely on regular walking. It wasn't until I had a close call on my front porch, I stepped sideways and nearly fell, that I realized how important this is. I started doing simple exercises at home, standing on one foot while brushing my teeth, shifting my weight from side to side, walking heel to toe in a straight line like I was on a balance beam. And let me tell you, those tiny drills made a big difference. My reactions got quicker. My confidence improved. I felt less nervous on stairs or when I had to turn quickly. I wasn't just hoping I wouldn't fall. I was building a body that was prepared not to. If you're not practicing balance, you're missing a huge piece of the puzzle. Walking is great, yes, but don't stop there. Challenge your body gently. Teach it to catch itself again. Even a few minutes a day can build the kind of strength that protects you for years to come.